Our morning bets are going to be hot and heavy because we have odds on Game 4 of the NBA Finals. Before we get to that, I want to look at the series price where things have adjusted dramatically. Remember, when this opened, it was Oklahoma City minus 750, and it was 4-1 on the Indiana Pacers. Now we look, and it's OKC minus 230, plus 190 when it comes to Indiana. And Game 4, the Pacers continue to get no respect despite an epic performance in Game 3 to go up 2-1. Oklahoma City is a 6-point road favorite. The total is 225.5. And if you want some of that money line, it's minus 230 on the Thunder, plus $1.90 as far as the Pacers are concerned. Right now, the player props are a little tough to figure out. They varied game to game here. I expect an adjustment from Oklahoma City, though. They've tried to play the Pacers game, and that's why they find themselves in a hole here in the series. I think they go back to what got them here, which is a slower tempo, using their defense to create the offense, and that's why I like the under in Game 4 of 225.5 between the Thunders and Pacers in the NBA Finals. Looking at Stanley Cup Finals Game 4, this series has been crazy. We had 2 coin flip games that went to overtime to begin things, and at that point I said these two teams are evenly matched. And then there was the 6-1 beatdown in Game 2 where Florida took command, and it felt like they may have taken the souls of the Oilers. That's the concern there. But it feels like maybe everyone's overreacting with that narrative. I'll go back to what I believed following the first 2 games. These two teams are evenly matched. That was a bad game for Stuart Skinner, and whoever Knobloch decides to start in net, they will be better than that performance in Game 3. I mean, it's not possible to be worse, but if it's Pickard, if it's Skinner, either way, I don't see them allowing 6 goals because I think the defense makes some key adjustments there to try to limit Florida. And I expect McDavid to have some magic up his sleeve. That's why I think when I look at this one at plus $1.30 on Edmonton, that is the play for me, people. That's an official play. Lock it in. We get a bounce back from the Oilers. I'm not writing them off because of one bad loss. They bounced back from a horrible loss a year ago in this series. They'll do a little bit more of the same. Home ice doesn't matter like it used to, and I think $1.46 is way too heavy for Florida when I still believe these two teams are very evenly matched. That's the hockey. That's the basketball. Let's look to the baseball because I have a lot of plays coming on Thursday's card. It's a short card, but I like a lot of these matchups. Beginning with the early game. Nationals at Mets. 2-1 on the Nationals and Mike Soroka, if you like it. Minus 253 with Kodai Senga on the hill for New York at Citi Field. Total is 8. Let's go over 5.5 strikeouts on Kodai Senga. He's averaging a strikeout an inning. If he gets to 6 innings, which I believe he will against Washington, we'll get there at minus 145 juice. Let's also add a player prop in here where we're going to go over 1.5 total bases at plus 115 on Juan Soto. I'm curious about this number. Unless the market just believes he's going to get walked a ton, Soto is locked in right now. Over his last 12 games, a 341 average. He does have 16 walks, which could hurt us here, but I think he's going to get a hit off Soroka, and it's probably going to be of the extra base variety. He's 6 of 10 lifetime against Soroka with 2 home runs. He's locked in at the plate right now. He's doing the Soto shuffle. He's having fun. Plus money on Soto with the way he's seeing the ball. That feels like an easy gimme. Let's look at Rangers at Twins, where it's Patrick Corbin at Bailey Ober, plus $1.38 on Texas, minus 169 on Ober in Minnesota. Total's 8.5. I don't have an official play on the side or the total. I do have 2 player props that I like. Marcus Semien has great numbers going up in this one. 2+ hits, plus $1.35, facing Bailey Ober for Minnesota. I like him to go over 1.5 hits at plus $1.35. He's also been hitting of late. It's a guy that has been a slow starter this year that Texas desperately needs. He's the only guy right now locked in at the plate. That's why I like him to go over his hits prop, or his total base prop, I should say. Byron Buxton total bases, we're going to go there over 1.5 as well at minus $1.20. Buxton kills lefties. Patrick Corbin doesn't miss bats. I think Buxton easily gets there, and he has really good numbers against Corbin lifetime. And shifting gears now to the Yankees and the Royals. We touched on it earlier in our 3-up, 3-down segment where, look, Seth Lugo's only made a couple starts since coming off the IL, but I have not liked what I've seen. And Will Warren's been very hittable, a 6 ERA over his last 5 starts. Warren and the Yankees are minus 150 favorites, plus 123 with the Royals and Lugo. Total is set at 9. I like the game to go over because I can make a strong case for both team totals. 3.5 on the Royals, 4.5 on the Yankees. I think they both get there. I think we're going to have a lot of runs. I also like Vinny Pasquantino, who hits righties really well. In a spot where Warren does strike out a lot of guys, but he's very hittable of late, I think Pasquantino, who's locked in at the plate right now over the last week, over 1.5 hits, runs, and RBIs at minus 125. And then the Detroit Tigers tomorrow, taking on the Baltimore Orioles. Tarek Skubal takes the hill. He's almost minus $2. Let's see, what is it right now? 186. 186 at the time of the broadcast, plus 152 on Dean Kramer in Baltimore. Total is 8. Detroit smashed Dean Kramer back on April 27th. I think they do more of the same. This is a spot where the Tigers' offense just isn't getting respected enough. Let's go over 4.5 team total on the Tigers. You have to look up and down that lineup. Kerry Carpenter is great at hitting righties, and Riley Green's locked in right now. Riley Green is the guy I want to lock in. 1.5 total bases at plus 105. You could go Kerry Carpenter over 1.5 at minus 105. And Zach McKinstry. If you wanted to play him, I wouldn't argue either. I think all three should have really good days against the guy in Dean Kramer who serves it up to left-handed hitting. And I like the Tigers to score a lot of runs and get a ton of hits here in Thursday's action. Trying to see if we missed any of the plays here. I don't believe we did, except for one, and that's a future. The National League Cy Young market, I understand what they're saying. It's Paul Skeens' award to win. Everyone else is playing for second place. He's minus 250 over at FanDuel. But there's a guy priced at 12-1 who's always in the conversation. And he's a veteran. He's been around the block. And sometimes you have to question young pitchers on bad teams like Paul Skeens if they'll be available later in the year. Zach Wheeler is a guy who's proven he can stay healthy late in the season. He's had 26 starts going back 4 seasons and 13 starts to start this year. He's on pace to do the same this year. I think 12-1 is way too long on a guy in Zach Wheeler who's having a Cy Young caliber season. We're looking at the numbers for him. He's got 101 strikeouts in just 82 innings. His ERA is 2.85. I believe he's going to be in the mix. And if he's in the mix and that number comes down on Skeens and we can lock in a profit, 12-1 is a great place to be holding that ticket on Zach Wheeler, who is always a bridesmaid in the conversation. Can he finally become a bride? Can he get that ring? It don't mean a thing unless you got that ring. And for Zach Wheeler at 35 years old, man, I like that number of 12-1. It has been a really fun show. I really appreciate you being with us. And, of course, you can go back and catch any part of the show anywhere you get your podcast, the VSiN Watch app. It's all available to you. We had a bunch of great guests. Rob Brender was tremendous breaking down Stanley Cup Final. We've got Game 4, and I hope Edmonton can extend this thing and make it interesting because the body language had me concerned, but I'm going to go for the bounce back. I think there's been an overreaction on Florida.